welcome to the Month and happy June! And since it is June, it is also happy birthday to Tune of the Month, which began, I think it's either 7 or 8 years ago now in June. I remember the month, I don't remember the number of years always because it's just been so many great tunes. But thank you guys for making what was once a crazy idea a really fun community of tune learners and lovers and sharers. It's so much fun to play these for you and to get you playing them, which is more to the point. All right, well, typically in June, I'll often play an original tune of mine that I've been getting requests for, and there's one that a few of you guys have picked up on from when you've seen in shows out there. This is not on any of my albums yet, but given the number of requests I keep getting for it, it might be soon. This is I guess it's an old-time sounding tune. I caught it in the Imperial Sand Dunes just outside of San Diego, which is just, it's like being in the Sahara Desert, unbelievable landscape. And I was standing on top of a sand dune ridge, and the wind blew across the strings of my violin and started playing what sounded like a tune, and I kind of followed it and found this one. So here's how it goes, The Fourth World. And that's the tune. If you're just listening, thanks for stopping by. And if you're ready to learn it, you know what you're doing. Grab your instrument and let's dive in. So this is, I guess it would technically be classed as a slow reel, which makes it nice because we can learn it basically at tempo, and it'll make a lot more sense than if we slowed it down even further and then you lose the sense of the line. So we're gonna do it pretty much right where I just played it, but to help you pick out the melody, I'm going to simplify it at first. I was using a lot of drone double stops to kind of give that old-timey feel, and also the sound of the wind in the desert playing the strings of the instrument, which is where I got it in the first place. Yeah, we're in D major, and I'm going to go ahead and play the A section, not slower, but cleaner. See how much you can kind of start sounding out with me here. These slow reels are great to do by sounding out the melody. D major. Ready? 2, 3, 4. Repeat, part 1. up high for the B section. Okay, so I was calling out the form there that's on the repeat the second time through the A section, and you know, even when I'm catching crazy tunes, they still tend to follow the standard form that we've seen in, what, 96, 97% of our tunes of the month, and I'm sure tunes in your repertoire as well. Within a section, A or B, we'll have part 1, that's the theme. Part 2, sometimes called the turnaround. Part 1 will come back, sometimes with a little variation, like it does here, and then there's an ending. All right, so it's nice and patterned. Let's break down each of those parts. I mean, if you wanted to, just rewind the video, play the A section slowly with me a bunch of times, and learn it that way, but we'll break it down a little more just in case that's helpful for you. Here's part 1. This is the melody, the theme of the A section. Now I'm using a 4th finger, starting on the D, the root. I'm using 4th finger so I can double my 4th finger D and my open string, get that unison double stop. That's really nice to make an old-timey sound, but it's your choice which one you want to use or both. So here I go. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it, that's part 1. Really simple little phrase. Try it again. There are no pickup notes, starts right on the downbeat. 2, 3, 4. Try it again. Notice the shape of the line. Where does it move by step? Where does it move by skip? Just sound it out. Ready? 2, 3, 4. Yeah, as we've done in past slow reels in Tune of the Month, I'm not going to talk too much about the patterns here. I really want you sounding out the melody and just kind of finding where those notes lie on your instrument. Also, it's useful if you want to pause the video and sing it, right? The more you can sing these things, the better it gets. I'll give you that opportunity now. Pause and sing it. Let's try it again. 2, 3, 4. Good. If you need any more repetitions, just go ahead and rewind the video. I'll do it with you as many times as you like. Now we're going on to part 2, the turnaround. There are 2 pickups to this. 2, 3. Yeah, listen again. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so this is a nice one to notice a couple little patterns. The pickups go up the scale, and right here it's a D major arpeggio. Down the scale. Catch that little drift? Up the scale pickups. Arpeggio. Stay here. Arpeggio. Down the scale. Yeah, do that whole part 2 again. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, try it again. 1, 2, 3. Good. And if you're looking for bowing patterns for any part of this, I'm using a lot of the same bowings that we have worked on in past old-time tunes of the month. It is very common to use slurs of 3. All right, in past tunes of the month, we called them glide slurs. They can go down bow or up bow, depending on where in the measure they start, right? But it gives it kind of that gliding feeling, da da ya da da. But because it's slurs of 3, it doesn't end up being too even, right? So here in part 2, I'm doing the pickups separately, and I go separate. Here's my 3 slur, 1, 2, 3, and it gives me a glide down that scale. Check that out. Glide it down. Here down the scale, I'm gonna glide. All right, and of course, when I have a slur of 3 in a group of 4, I get 3 plus 1, right? Sometimes we've called that a 3 plus 1 slur. If you go down bow for 3 and then 1, these are my 4/8 notes, can you tell? There's my down bow 3 plus 1. If it's an up bow slur, it'll be 1 down bow plus 3 on the up bow. right? But you can kind of mix those around. There's not a definite bowing for a tune like this, right? It's so floaty and drifty. But if you think about using slurs of 3, you know, 1 or 2 at a time. I wouldn't do too many in a row because it'll get too smooth. And they'll kind of alternate gliding down bow or up bow. That'll give you that old-timey feel. Try the part 2 again. Good. All right, so that's part 1 and part 2. If you want some more repetitions on that, just go ahead and rewind. Now where part 1 comes back. Now this is a little variation on part 1. Listen to how it goes. Yeah, notice I'm using the slurs of 3 again, starting with a down bow slur 3 right at the beginning. Yeah, try it again. 1, 2, 3. One more time, variation. Good. If you want more repetition, just rewind. And here comes the first ending. All right, this tune has 2 endings, one that gets you back to the A section, one that continues to the B. First ending. Into the beginning of the A section, really kind of rolls back. Good, has 2 pickups. 1, 2, 3. Nice, try it again, first ending. 2 pickups, go up the scale. Keep going up the scale. Arpeggio. Yeah, so it's kind of that combination of the little scales and the D major arpeggios mixed again. So if I do this first part of the ending, up the scale, keep going up the scale. When you get to the A, that's the D major arpeggio descending, right? Now we have a little neighbor tone. Go. Try that first ending again. There you go. More repetitions. Rewind is your friend. But we now have all the components of the A section. Part 1, part 2, the turnaround, part 1 with a little variation, and the first ending. Let's put that all together, shall we? This is the, we'll play it all the way through once, repeat back, and then heads up at the very end, you'll hear the second ending that goes to the B section. Here we go. Part 1 starts on a D, right on the downbeat. 2, 3, and... Good, part 2. Down the scale. Variation. First ending, up the scale, neighbor. Repeat back, part 1, theme. Part 2, turnaround. Here's the variation. Now listen, here's this ending, second ending. And that continues on into the B section. Yeah, well done. So that second ending, it sounds like such a big deal because this is the first time the tune is really moving up in the register. But in terms of the melody, it's very simple. We start out just like the first ending with those 2 pickups up the scale. But rather than just continuing up the scale, we're going to go to the arpeggio mode. Arpeggio, neighbor, tone. Do the same thing again. Pick up, arpeggio, neighbor, tone. That's it. It's 2 of those guys. Up the scale, arpeggio, neighbor, tone at the it's way more complicated to say the words of how it's moving than it is to just hear it and play it. So do it. Second ending. 1, 2, 3. Pickups. Good. And then if we want to go to the B section, these next little guys are just pickups into the B section, right? I'll do those pickups again. Good, sound them out, find out where they are. Good, and it really wants to go on, so we will go on to the B section in a minute, but let's do that second ending one more time. Notice where my slurs of 3 are going here are on the neighbor tone. At the top there, right? Stepwise neighbors. Yes, we've talked about that in previous tunes of the month, and hopefully you know that term from the rest of your fiddling life too, because it's used often and is useful. So often neighbor tones present a great place to do a slur of 3, either on the down bow or the up bow. All right, so that's a good thing to keep in mind when you're figuring out where you like your slurs of 3 in your particular version of this tune. Here we go, second ending. Pickups. 1, 2, 3. Good. One more time, second ending. Very nice. All right, so that's all the A section material, right? And you only need that soaring second ending when you're continuing on into the B. All right, if you'd like more repetitions on any part of that, rewind. It's the magic of the internet. All right, but I'm going to go on to the B section. Okay, so you'll hear some very similar form. Part 1, part 2, part 1 with a little variation, and ending. I'm going to play it more or less at tempo, but nice and clean. No extra double stops or things like that yet, so you can hear how this melody goes. I'm going to start right at the top. Well, no, I'll do the pickups. That is easier. 1, 2, 3. Part 1 variation. Ending. All right, so I was calling out those sections there the second time through, but hopefully you were hearing them anyway. Okay, so the B section theme, just like the A, is super easy to hear. It's super melodic. I'll do it without the pickups for a second. Let's just go right on the downbeat. 2, 3, and... And that connects into the part 2. So you notice it's basically just a scale. A little hot, cross, buns. Find where that skeleton scale is on your instrument. Hot, cross, buns. Good. Now we're going to decorate each of those. Hot, crossed, buns. Yeah, do just that much. Hot, crossed, buns. Or mi, re, do, whatever word you use for down the scale. Hot, cross, buns, mi, re, do. Yeah. And then a little tail, which is just up the scale, right? Good. That's part 1. Let's put it together. 2, 3, and hot, crossed, buns, and up the scale to land here. Good. Let's put the pickups back in. That'll connect you back to the A section. You remember what they are? To hot. Good, let's try it. And up to hot, crossed, buns. Nice. Do it again with pickups. And up to hot. Crossed. Buns. Little tail. Good. Any more repetitions? You know what to do. Here's part 2. It takes off right where we just landed on that F sharp. Yeah, listen again. So it sounds super fancy because we're soaring way up high there, but it's actually basically a scale. A little decoration here, but keep going up the scale. Yeah, so it's a little triplet scale. Cross strings, triplet scale. Little tail goes down the scale, and finish there on the 5 chord. Yeah, try it again. Part 2, the turnaround. It's the triplet place. That's how I remember it. Triplet, land. Good, do it again. Yeah, notice I'm using some nice slurs of 3 in there. I'm slurring 3 over the triplet. And you got a save bow here. And now another slur of 3. Which gives me a nice slur across the bar line. It could be really nice to do a slur of 3 across the bar line if you feel like it. Part 2, one more time. Very good. Now we're ready to go back to part 1. It's the same pickups. Little variation. All right, so if you notice it still has the hot, cross, buns. We're just filling it in a little differently. Hot, crossed, buns. So hot is the most decorated. I'm doing a little string crossing and right back in time to pick up the same decoration, that little skip up from the first part. Hot, crossed, buns. Gonna do it again. Those decorated, the variated hot cross buns. Hot, crossed, buns. And here, it does a little, instead of up the scale all the way, it starts up the scale and then back down. All right, there you go. Let's try it with the pickups. 1, 2, 3. Part 1 variation. Hot, cross, buns. Try it again. Hot, crossed, buns. Very good. And where we just landed on that A, that's the start of the ending. Now, depending on how you write this tune out, or think it, or hear it, or feel it, it's the same ending both times through, but there are extended pickups to either get up back to the higher register for the B section or down for the A section. Or you can think of it as a first and second ending, your choice. I think of it as same ending, different connector. Here's the ending. That's basically the ending. It's a little, although I call it a cuckoo cuckoo. It's just a little jump between 2 stations of the arpeggio. All right, and now if we want to play the B section next, we got to get back up there. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I wrote this tune. I have never really settled on an exact way to get back up to the beginning of that B section. It's kind of an improv zone, right? So I play, and now I have 7 notes to get back to the B section. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's actually 8. And then I land. And I can play those 8 notes kind of however I want. It's called controlled improvisation, very much a part of the old time and Americana tradition. We've worked on it in past Tunes of the Month. Now's your chance to do it because the composer of the tune literally didn't write exactly what happens there. So yeah, when I send out the sheet music for this to those of you who are subscribed to my email newsletter, you're going to see some notes written in there. They will probably be notes that I've played once, maybe twice, but I wouldn't do it every time. And so far better than committing to a bunch of notes, start making up your own. So let's try that a little bit. We're going to play the start of the ending, the part that is written. Da, 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 da. Now make up your own way to be. And you got to land at the top there, right? Let's try. 2, 3, and ending, ending, land. Now make up your own way to be. That's the top of the B section. Let's try it again. Ending, ending, land. Now make up your own. Now, as you heard, the first time I played it, it sounded pretty good. Second time I played it, not so great. I found out playing that C sharp doesn't sound awesome to me personally. If you liked it, by all means do it. But what I will do is, rather than like falling apart because I didn't play the best line in the world to connect myself from the ending back to the B section, I just kind of noticed, hey, maybe next time I won't play that second finger C sharp because I didn't like it as much. And this is the key to controlled improvisation. Allow yourself to try some different options. And if it's something that you really like, kind of take note. What did I do that was really good there? Because then you can do it again. And if you hit what we call a turkey, like a note that's like, "Rawr," I don't like that so much, just kind of notice what it is and avoid it in future. No big deal. Nobody's going to die. And even the composer of the tune will not be upset with you for playing a wrong note, because there is no right note. I literally didn't write it. All right? Cool. So you now know the whole B section. Let's put it all together, the parts that I did write. We'll do the theme, the part 2 turnaround, the little triplet, theme with the variation, or hot cross buns, and then that little ending, make your connection back to the B section, and we'll repeat it. Ready? And we'll do the pickups so it connects to the A. 1, 2, 3, pickups. Hot, crossed, buns. Part 2. Triplet. And down the scale. Pickups. Variation. Crossed. Buns. Here it comes. Ending, ending, land. Part 2. Hot, crossed, buns, ending, ending, land. Now listen. And that's how it gets back to the A section. Now these I actually did right. I got you back to the A section. It's only the B that you got to worry about. Ending, ending, land. If you want to get back down for the A section, neighbor tone. And that's a great little connector. I think I played it once and it was like, ooh, that, and actually wrote it down. Ending, ending, land. Little neighbor tone. Down. Do it one more time. Ending, ending, land. There you go. And that's the whole tune. So it's played 2 A's, 2 B's, 2 A's, 2 B's, like a normal fiddle tune. I have sometimes ended it on the A section. You can also do that if you need to for time or form. It's pretty fluid, and it's just a beautiful little melody, and clearly I'm not that picky about what the exact notes are. It's more about the feeling and the flow of the tune. All right, so let's play 2 A's, 2 B's, 2 A's, 2 B's. and kind of feel that form coming together. Now the first time I'm going to keep it pretty clean like we've been doing so you can follow the melody. And then the second time through I'm going to start adding in more drone double stops. Now we've worked a lot with this skill in past Tune of the Month videos, so if you're new to it you can go back to some of our previous videos, especially old time tunes, is where you tend to use a lot of those drone double stops. But basically the idea is any available open string that, for instance, the beginning here. And you want to pick, you know, if you're on the middle strings, you'll have either an upper string that could drone or a lower string that could drone. And usually what will be the case is one of those will fit with the chord of the tune that you're playing and one of them won't. Basically, one will sound good and match the tune and one will sound a little weird. And how you figure out which is try it. And don't play the one that sounds weird. If it sounds weird, switch to the other. So what I was just doing there at the beginning, the first part of the melody, my fingers, the melody is on the G string, so I'm droning my D string next door. When my fingers move to the D string, my drone moves up to the A string. And that's how I'm kind of accompanying myself and giving that sound of the wind playing the strings of the fiddle. All right, so let's play the whole tune through twice to finish up here and start being brave and put in those drone double stops. Even if you've never done it before, give it a try. The worst that can happen is you don't like it and you get off the drone. Pretty easy. Ready? A section with the theme. 1, 2, 3, Part 2. Variation. First ending, up the scale. Neighbor. Back to part 1. Part 2, turn around. Variation. For second ending. Do it again. Up to the B section. Hot, crossed, buns. Part 2, triplet. Variation. Hot, crossed, buns. Ending, land. Improvise. Hot, crossed, buns. Part 2, triplet. Variation. Ending, land. Back down to the A section. Put some drones in. First ending. Second ending. Hot, cross, buns. Hot, cross, buns. Ending, land. Your turn. Hot, cross, buns. Ending, land. And finish on your root. And that's the whole tune. Awesome. Well, I hope you guys like this, and it's a fun one to play around with. This is a great tune to do controlled improvisation on. You don't need to worry about offending the composer, because apparently that's me, and I like it. You probably heard when I played it up at the top of this video, I had a bunch of little variations, little connectors that I played slightly differently each time. And as long as you keep the overall shape of the tune and get to the important parts to keep are the themes of each section and that second ending between getting from the A to the B. Those are the really important parts to kind of like keep consistent. Mostly, not so you please me, but so your audience can follow you through the form 2 A's, 2 B's, 2 A's, 2 B's. The more drones you put in, the more old-timey and cool and beautiful it sounds. So it's basically there's a playground for you to mess around with and have some fun with these skills. All right, well, I hope you like the tune. I hope the skills are fun. They'll help you in your other old-timey tunes of all varieties. As always, if you'd like to see sheet music for this and any future tunes of the month, make sure you're subscribed to my email newsletter. Go to my website, www.mariblack.com, and sign up for that newsletter. If you're already a member, you already have this tune sheet music, my little handwritten chicken scratch. Good luck, but it's in your inbox. And if you're just signing up now in the future, welcome, and I'm happy to be in touch, and you will see future tunes of the month email coming to you to enjoy. All right, thanks guys, hope it's fun, and I'll see you next month. Bye.